When real men can't sleep, real men do the news. So I would try to keep this one relatively quick or brief. But I wanted to show something, a difference, you can say an us or them thing. Corporate Democrats versus, let's say, one Bernie Sanders. Take a look at this. I got this from one Bernie Sanders. Now, this is essentially Bernie Sanders asking for money. Now, when I click on the link for Bernie Sanders asking for money, he wants money for Abrams, Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum. Now, look at this. Your contribution can be divided evenly among Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum and one other group. Click here to allocate those amounts differently. Okay? Now, you may miss that if you were clicking on the link, but the email itself said that the money is going to be given to Stacey Abrams. Please help give money to Stacey Abrams and Andrew Gillum's re-election push. Just want to be clear. You click on the link, Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum, Florida recount. One Mr. Bernie Sanders saying, please give cash. Now, in Bernie Sanders saying, please give cash, Bernie Sanders is not having any cloak and dagger. It's straightforward. If you give, whatever you give would be divided among these three people because these three people are in an election campaign and these people have the potential to win. Straightforward. Hope I'm understood. Look at this. Kamala Harris. Stacey Abrams could still win or force a recount runoff despite her Republican opponent rampant voter suppression. Donate here to make sure every vote counts. Now, when you click the link, take a look at this. Stand with Stacey Abrams. Now, look at the fine print. Your contribution will be divided evenly between Stacey Abrams and Kamala Harris. Oh, wait a minute. But one Bernie Sanders was given entirely to the recount. If you weren't paying attention, you could miss the fact that Kamala Harris is trying to take half of the scratch to be donated to Stacey Abrams. Now, the only reason she would do this is to hone in on Stacey Abrams' fame in this, meaning there's a lightning rod associated with what's taking place right now in Georgia and Stacey Abrams' attempt to win from massive and rampant outright rigging by Brian Kemp, running in the race and presiding over the race. And he himself, as if he is God above, has said that he was the winner of this race, despite the fact that all the ballots haven't been cast, and despite the fact he magnificently cheated. My point here is, one Bernie Sanders gives it all to the people who need it. Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum, Florida recount. One Kamala Harris, in this tweet, Stacey Abrams could win or force a runoff despite the Republican opponent's rampant voter suppression. Donate here to make sure every vote is counted in Georgia. Great. Then why are you getting half of her scratch? Why are you getting half of her scratch? Sly Kamala Harris is essentially trying to pull a fast one and trying to take money that should be donated and allocated entirely to Stacey Abrams in the same way that Bernie Sanders is on the table fairly and honestly giving his money to all three. Kamala Harris could have used a form that Stacey Abrams already has to essentially help with that, but she didn't do that. She created this deceptive tweet that, again, if you could miss it, you wouldn't necessarily be aware that half of the money was going to Kamala Harris, not Stacey Abrams. This is amazing. This is utterly amazing. Yes, if you pay attention, you could catch this, but you can also take it at face value, seeing as everything else on the page is talking about Stacey Abrams. If you really cared, why not just use Stacey Abrams' regular form? Why? Why? The only reason you would do this is if you were trying to glean, take a little bit from that spotlight, to try to use Stacey Abrams and the struggle that she's taking place as a lightning rod. Take a look at this. I'm sorry. I thought you guys were watching it. Right here. Bernie Sanders forum. Stacey Abrams, Andrew Gillum, Florida recount. Kamala Harris. You click. Again, if you weren't paying attention, you may miss this. Half of the scratch. Kamala Harris is trying to pull a fast one. And she's trying to use, you can say, the fame of Stacey Abrams, or the struggle of Stacey Abrams, and the national attention to Stacey Abrams, to be fast and loose and pull part of the money that should be entirely given to Stacey Abrams, just like Bernie Sanders is giving all of it to the 3 people that are involved. Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen. Kamala Harris. That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm not going to keep this long. I'll end this here. Say what you want. Kamala Harris is not to be trusted. And it's stuff like this where she's being a typical politician, fast and loose with the truth, fast and loose with the details. Instead of her giving all of the money to Stacey Abrams where that money should go. Everything on the page. Stacey Abrams, Stacey Abrams, Stacey Abrams. And then, oh yeah, I'm taking half. I'm taking half. Again, Stacey Abrams has her own link that if Kamala Harris was really interested in using, she could have tweeted out. She didn't do that. She tweeted out this link that takes half of the money that should be going to Stacey Abrams. Bernie Sanders being above board, all of the money is going to the people involved. If you're going to use any link, use Bernie Sanders link or use Stacey Abrams link. Do not, under any circumstances, give Kamala Harris money, especially if you intend that money to go towards Stacey Abrams. So, I'll end this here. I don't want this one to be long. I saw this and I was like, okay, people need to know she's playing fast and loose. Just be aware. Thanks all. Oh, by the way, if you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through PayPal or Patreon, and every dollar helps. It keeps the show ticking along. Thanks. Have a good night.